Joining us now with more on the phone hacking allegations, we're joined by Richard Kemp. He's a former commander of British forces in Afghanistan. Richard, thanks very much for being with us. Can you just tell me what your initial reaction was to these fresh allegations?
Well, I think probably speechless. It's in this country we revere our people who volunteer to go and fight for our country and who are then killed in battle defending our country. We not only revere them, we also show enormous respect to their close families, the close families of those people who have been killed. And the very idea that anybody at all could exploit the sacrifices made by these soldiers and their families is, I think, abhorrent to the majority of people in this country and probably any other country.
Have you been talking to the families of veterans? Do you know of anybody who's been personally affected?
I've spoken to two mothers of soldiers from my own regiment who've been killed in action in Afghanistan. I don't know whether their phones themselves have been hacked or whether we know anything about that, but I do know that they are both absolutely outraged. And you know, one of them told me how sickened she was by this. Another said that it really brought back to her the memories of that horrible day that every mother or wife of a soldier killed in action goes through, that horrible day when a military officer knocks on the door to tell you that you won't be seeing your son ever again. And you can just imagine, we probably can't imagine, I can't imagine how awful that is. And then to have it dragged up again by this kind of despicable practice, I think, is beyond belief.
Do you think the allegations are made worse by the fact that the News of the World is a paper that's always supported the armed forces and it's worked alongside them, in fact?
It's a great deal worse because of that. And the News of the World, its sister paper, The Sun, other papers in the group have been absolutely staunch supporters of the armed forces. They have conducted very principled campaigns to support our troops all around the world and for many years. And in fact, these papers are known as the soldiers' friends. The reporters that work on these papers themselves put, as with other papers and other news media, put their lives on the line as well, going out to the front line to report on what's happening. They deal with the parents and the families of wounded soldiers and soldiers killed in action, often very, very sensitively indeed. So they understand, and I'm sure the majority of reporters and staff of these papers will be just as horrified as the rest of us are. And
briefly, do you know many soldiers right now who are rushing out to buy the News of the World? I mean, it could potentially affect a great part of their market.
Well, I'm told, but many soldiers have told me they won't be buying the News of the World again, and I think it's sad because I think that as the News of the World and the Army and the military have a close relationship, and I think now the News of the World and News International needs to act very rapidly to try and repair that damage. I think it would be a shame if this was to be lasting damage. We do need to see strong action taken so they can begin the road back.
Richard Kemp, thanks very much for joining us with your thoughts.